as we'll see later on, the sharks have really large teeth, and you can tell how large the shark is based off of their teeth. So for those of you with the, let me do this by memory, purple worksheet, it asks you about what the word Carcharocles megalodon means. For those of you with the green or yellow hands, you don't have to write that, so just keep looking at the screen. So we are going to look at how big are these teeth. So here at the museum, we have a couple of megalodon teeth, two that are more so adult sized, and I use 3 baby teeth to teach with. So when we do reopen, you can either see the adult teeth in our Native American exhibit, or you can ask me and I can pull out the baby teeth. So on your worksheets, if you see this, we are measuring this tooth. So starting at the 0, and I already lined it up for you, so it's a little bit easier. You line it up at the 0, and then the tallest end of the root of the tooth is where you measure to. So for some of you, you are drawing lines from the ruler to the teeth. Some of you are doing some math. So let's see, if we start at 0 and we get to, oh, cool. So yes, some people can find megalodon teeth.
I have it right here.
Oh, do you? Can you show the, are you holding it? That is almost as big as your head.
It's as big as my hand.
Yeah, so that's how I teach. So my family makes fun of me because I have small hands, and the baby megalodon teeth are nearly as big as my hand.
I also have a big shark tooth that I found in our driveway.
In your driveway? How?
Explain our driveway so she understands.
It's got gravel in it.
Okay. I was thinking some sharks grew some legs and they came and visited you at your house. But that's really cool. I've heard of other people having that as well in their driveways. So if we start at the tip, the very pointy part of the tooth, at the 0, then you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. So can someone share how big they think that this tooth is according to our ruler?
I do think it is. Or the one
Some of you may have it on your paper.
This one's different.
So we're over 5 inches. So here's 5 inches. Here's 5.5. Do you think that the tooth is bigger than 5.5 or smaller than 5.5?
It's not.
Like 5 1/4.
Okay, yeah. I'd say it's probably pretty close to 5 1/4. And we're gonna say that that is fine for our purposes. So for some of you, you have to draw lines. Like I said, some of you are doing the math or writing down how big the tooth is. And over here in the corner, it says 1 inch of tooth is equal to 1 foot of shark. So when you are measuring shark's teeth, every inch that it is equal to 1 foot of shark, of the full shark. So if you find a tooth that is 1 inch long, that then means that the shark that it came out of is how long?
Yeah, but that's not really true with a whale shark. With a whale shark, they have teeny weeny teeth.
And that is true. So for the sharks that have kind of like these teeth that look like they're triangles, because some sharks, and you get whales and dolphins, and they have all different kinds of teeth. But so if 1 inch is equal to 1 foot, that means that if you only had a tooth that's 1 inch long, then that means that the shark is 1 foot long.
And it would be 2 feet long if it's a 2-inch tooth.
Perfect. Yes, exactly. They made it really easy on us, didn't they? So for this shark, for the shark that this tooth came out of, we said that it's a little bit more than 5 inches long of a tooth. How many feet? Let's just say it's 5 inches rounded. If the tooth were only 5 inches, how long would the shark be?
5 feet.
5 feet. I forgot a 0. It's supposed to be 10 feet of shark. I have a typo. It is, I was going to say, that's not the right answer. So 1 inch of tooth is equal to 10 feet of shark. So just add a 0. So if the tooth is 5 inches long, then that means that the shark is 50 feet long. All right. So check your worksheet and see if you need to draw any lines, if you need to write in any blanks. So remember, I forgot a 0 here. So this is supposed to say 10 feet of shark. All right. Let's move along. So I really like this graphic because it shows you just how big sharks are. So the person that is outlined in black here, down in the bottom left-hand corner, we are saying that that person is 6 feet tall. So that 6-foot person is 2 of our squares. So a great white shark is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. That many squares. So if you know that the person is 6 feet tall and they are 2 squares, then we can figure out how long these other sharks are. So the green shark on the screen is a great white. The purple shark is a whale shark. And then you see that the red shark is a small megalodon and the gray is a big megalodon. So this one helps us out. The big megalodon is how big that this arrow is, and it's 65.6 feet. So a little bit bigger than 65.5 feet. So for those of you with your worksheets, make sure that you check and see if there are any questions about lengths of sharks, how many squares they have on the chart. And we'll come back at the end to make sure that we have all the answers. So it's okay if we don't get all of them right away. So if you also think about size, because for me, it's kind of hard to think, how big is 65 feet? Or when we talk about how big their jaws are, I don't always know how big that is. It's hard to think about. So a school bus, a standard size, the long version of the school bus is about 45 feet long. So you can see that I put this cool yellow school bus so you can see how big the sharks are compared to it. So the big megalodon is larger, and the small megalodon, it's closer, but it's still a little bit bigger than a yellow school bus. So
The whale shark and the great white are both small.
right, yes, so they are both smaller. But so today in the world, the whale shark is going to be the biggest shark that we have. We don't have the small megalodons and we don't have the big megalodons. So they are extinct, which means that they no longer exist.
And we don't have their bones.
And we don't have their bones. No, but we find their teeth.
Yeah.
So something cool when you find shark's teeth, you can tell how long it's been out of the shark's mouth based off of what color they are. So if you find a white shark's tooth or like a cream colored, like off-white colors, that means that what's that?
I've got a few black teeth.
Okay, so yeah, that's the other color that you will find. So they're either white or black. The black shark's teeth have been out of the shark for a very long time. The white shark's teeth have not been out of the shark's mouth for very long. And the way that the colors change is when the teeth fall out and they settle in the sand and they're in the ocean, they start to pick up stuff around it. So if the tooth lands in the sand, then it starts to absorb minerals, and the minerals change the color of the teeth. So if you find a white shark's tooth, that means that it's newly lost. It just came out of the shark's mouth, or more recently than the dark shark's teeth. So let's keep trucking along. All right, so we talked about their teeth, and if you have a tooth the size of your hand, it's not gonna be able to fit in a human mouth because that's way too large. Megalodon's jaws can open to about 6 feet tall. So if you want to think about how tall that is, if you have a standard door frame, that is usually 6 feet 8 inches tall. So the shark's jaw could open that large, or just a little bit less than that large. So if you've got these great big teeth and a great big jaw, what size food do you think you're eating?
Like big food.
Big food.
A megalodon could eat a small whale.
Right. So the bigger the animal, usually the bigger the food that they eat. So on the screen here, and some of you may have on your worksheet something about a food chain. So when you're learning about animals, you have to learn about what they eat. So for me as a human, I am going to eat food that will fit in my mouth, because when I was growing up, my mom always told me to take smaller bites because that's too much food at one time. But I will eat things that are usually smaller than me. So looking at the screen, or maybe your worksheet, if it's on your worksheet, we have a shark all the way at the top. And then underneath it is a fish, a large fish. Underneath the large fish is a small fish. And underneath the small fish are like krill and worms and like shrimp and littler, smaller foods. So when you are looking at making a food chain, do you think that we draw the arrows so that it shows the shark eats the bigger fish, and then the bigger fish eats the smaller fish, and then the smaller fish eats the bugs? Or do you think that the bugs eat the smaller fish eats the bigger fish, and the bigger fish eats the shark?
That's not how it goes.
Okay, do you think it was version 1 or version 2?
Version 1.
Version 1, very good, yes. So, if you are deciding how a food chain goes, or a food web as well, bigger animals, bigger predators eat smaller prey. So the terms predator and prey, it's who is doing the eating and who is running away trying to not be eaten. So if I were eating a chicken, I would be the predator and the chicken would be my prey. But if, let's see, if I were a tuna fish in the ocean and a shark comes by and the shark decides it's hungry, then I am the prey as the tuna and the predator is the shark. So you may have to draw arrows on your worksheet. You may have to explain what a prey or a predator is, and we will check in on that in just a moment. We're gonna keep on going. So the next kind of dinosaur that we're gonna learn about is a horseshoe crab. So has anyone ever seen something that looks like this?
Yes.
You have.
I see a dead one on the beach.
You've seen a dead one on the beach. Yeah, so has anyone seen one anywhere else?
Yes, aquariums.
Perfect, yes. So you can see them in aquariums, and often you can see them dead on the beach. But these are also dinosaurs. So the horseshoe crab, the scientific name is Limulus polyphemus, but we commonly know it as a horseshoe crab. All right, so there are more than 2 eyes on the horseshoe crab. Can we find where any of the eyes are by looking at this picture, or potentially there's a picture on your worksheet?
They have 4 eyes. It looks like it's a nose, but it's really eyes.
Okay. So we've actually got more than 4 eyes. We have 9. So let's see here. 2 are usually able to be found. So these, can you see my cursor? My white pointer?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if it shows. So you've got 2 eyes that look like this, one on this side, and there's one over here on the other side. So those usually people point out as eyes. They also have eyes here, which look like a nose. And then there's 5 of them in their tail here. So here are all my fun arrows that I was playing with. We have your 2 that you usually can find are here, and they see, like, they can see shapes and see where they're going. So these 4, the 2 that look like a nose and the 2 that look like eyes, are used for sight. And then the 5 that are in the tail help the horseshoe crabs to tell if it's daytime or nighttime. So why do you think it's important to know if it's daytime or nighttime?
Because sharks are out.
Okay, so
They're probably their predators.
okay, so predators may be out. Gabe, can you repeat what you said? I couldn't quite hear you.
Oh, I would say first, they come out at different times, that's all.
Yeah, so they come out at different times. So sharks aren't going to eat horseshoe crabs. They have no known predators because there's not much to them. So this shell that you feels hard like a turtle shell. And horseshoe crabs their shells soften and then they expand and grow bigger. And so there's not a whole lot to them. Now, this is what it looks like underneath the horseshoe crab. So here's the other reason they don't have any known predators. It's not like you're gonna wanna eat this. There's not a whole lot of meat to this animal. So you can see all of the different legs and claws here. And then this is just the underside of the shell. So this is how it gets its name, horseshoe crab, because the shell looks like a horse's shoe. So it's that kind of half circle. Does anyone know where the mouth is on a horseshoe crab?
I don't know.
Near its little spiky tail at the end, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so you think it's down by the spiky end. Okay. Ashlyn, do you have any guesses?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Yeah, so again, they often are washed up on the beach. So the mouth is, where did my little buttons go? Right in the middle. So right here, where it looks kind of fuzzy, that's where the mouth is. Now, do these teeth look like the teeth on a shark?
No.
So do you think that the horseshoe crab is eating great big food or little food?
Little food.
Little food, yes. So the mouth being in the center of all the legs. So imagine like your belly button is your mouth. So as you're walking around, you can grab stuff with your hands and you can go and put it into your mouth or your belly button as a person. So what happens is the horseshoe crab crawls around, and they can actually swim a little bit too. But as they crawl around, they grab stuff out of the sand and put it into their mouth. And they don't have teeth like we do or like sharks do. They have these spines that kind of grind everything up. And that's how they eat. So, all right, so we're back to reminders about questions. I'm gonna take you off of screen share to make sure that we have all of our questions answered. So, for one of our hand colors, let's make sure that for our green hands, I think I've got a green hand in here. Make sure you have a line drawn from the tip of the tooth to the ruler and from the bottom of the tooth or the root of the tooth to the ruler. And then who can tell me the fill in the blank? How many inches equals how many feet of shark? Yes.
1 inch of the tooth is 10 feet of the shark.
Perfect, yes. And so remember we'd said, oh, your ruler I made different on the worksheet. I just noticed that. So you can answer the question, how many inches is this tooth, based off of what we talked about in class or the one on your worksheet. What vehicle was compared to a megalodon?
Bus.
A bus, yep. Big old yellow school bus. All right. So for Gabe, how many 6 foot tall people would make up one big megalodon?
Around 66 if you round it up.
Around,
Add 11.
You said 11?
11.
Right. Great. Yeah. So that's a lot of people laying end to end to make up a shark. Okay. So for the food chain, you've got on the left-hand side of your worksheet an adorable blue shark. On the right-hand side of your worksheet, you have some aquatic bugs. Where is the arrow pointing? So where did you draw the arrow from?
I'm going to the shark, to the thingamajiggers, the bugs.
Perfect, yes. So on your worksheet, there should be an arrow drawn from the left to the right. So the triangle part should be pointed at the bugs.
Yep.
And then remember, the prey is the smaller food item that is being trying to be eaten, and the one doing the eating is the predator. So for Gabe, you've got some questions on the back. And we talked about the different eyes on a horseshoe crab. So remember that they have 4 eyes that see, and they have 5 eyes that only tell them if it's light or dark. And then does anyone remember, did I say anything about who eats horseshoe crabs?
They don't have any known predators.
Perfect, yes, no known predators. But why they are important. So why are we talking about these dinosaurs? So horseshoe crabs, they're very old. We were talking about them in the dinosaur class. Their lifespan can be between 40 and 60 years. So they live a really long time. And scientists figured out that if you use a horseshoe crab's blood, you can test medicine. And it doesn't hurt the horseshoe crab. And they are released back into the ocean after the tests are done. But that way, when I get sick, or when Ms. Lori gets sick, or Ms. Kristen, or any of you, that medicine may have been tested on horseshoe crab's blood because it's really pure. So that's why they're important, is for scientific research, for medical research. All right, so one of the other questions on some of the worksheets asked about circling where the eyes are on a horseshoe crab, or writing about, do you think the megalodon went extinct because of other animals or because of people? Now remember, both of these animals lived a long, long time ago, and we said that megalodon are extinct now. Horseshoe crabs are not. So like Ashlyn said, she's found them on the beach. We've seen them here along the river. So where the museum is, if you remember, if you've either not been here or it's been a long time so you forget that we exist, we are right by City Pier in downtown Southport. So we have the riverfront right there. And so after some storms, we often will see horseshoe crabs. So just remember that if you see them on the beach, to leave them alone. You don't want to hurt them. They're usually fine. They have that tail, and it can't bite you, it can't sting you, it doesn't hurt you. It just helps them roll over. So like turtles can get stuck on their shells, horseshoe crabs are able to turn themselves over. So, do we have any questions? No? Okay. Do we have everything answered on our worksheets? And remember that I am recording this, so when we're done, I will email it to you. So if you do have questions, you can go back and read or listen again. Or if you just would like to relearn about sharks, then we can do that too. Okay, so what is next on our agenda is our craft. So I left a little bit extra time because we're doing origami. So each of you got a lovely baggie of paper. Now, what you do need aside from this bag is tape or glue, something to attach things together. So you can go ahead and open up your baggie. So what we're going to do is, I have a completed one in my office. We are going to make a shark bookmark. So, excuse me, if you have a book, I have a giant book. Here we go. If you have a book, what you can do when you're done is it'll sit right on top. Aww. And you can keep the place of where you're reading. Or you can just use it for decoration, like I had mine just sitting, keeping me company in my office. But this is what we are going to make. So we have our fins, our dorsal fins. We have our pectoral fins here. They're the ones that help you move up and down and left and right, like airplane wings. We've got eyes. We have teeth. And then my light here is a little bright, but there's a pink tongue on there as well. So, adventure together to make this. So you're going to start with your blue piece of origami paper. Now, I did this last week, so let's see if I can remember. You are going to fold it into a triangle. So, see here, we went from a square to a triangle. You can crease it really hard. You don't have to. Usually works a little bit better. But that is going to be our lovely triangle. So, now we are going to fold this white portion up. I may have done this backwards. Wait a minute. No, I didn't. Nope, we're good. You're going to fold it up so that the tip of your triangle touches the top of your paper. Okay. Yes. Okay. Trying to also do this. There we go. Yep. Okay. So, does everybody have to this point?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Excellent. Love it. What you're going to do is you're going to fold these so that you make a diamond, so that everything's then covered. Mine's not all lined up, but you're just going to take your two wings out here and fold them down just like that. Okay. I'll put it down so I can do it now. Okay. So it kind of now looks like a kite to me. And mine did not fold exactly together. That is okay. Every time it's going to look different when you do this. So, have we folded it to this point? Are we ready to move on? I hear no conflicts, so I'm going to keep moving. Perfect. I love it. Okay, so we are now going to take these flaps and fold them up and under so that we have an opening here. You're going to fold them up and under. We're just basically tucking away the extras. So this is what it'll look like when you're done. Well, you've got to do both sides, but you're going to tuck it up and under. Okay. So here's where we're at. This was our model, and we've now made it. All the folding and engineering is done, and now is when you get glue or tape out, or a stapler even. Any of that works. So you're going to need to attach. Let's attach the eyes first. So each of you should have 2 eyes in your baggie, and you can decide where you would like to put the eyes. So in our example, they're right here, pretty symmetrical. You can put them both on one side if you'd like. You can do, ooh. Well, the glue's sticking to Miss Katie, but not my eyeball. Okay, my eyeballs are now glued. And they're googly, so they'll shake around a little bit. Excellent. All right, our next one. Let's do our teeth next. So you should all have some jaggedy teeth. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put some glue across the top part of it, and then you're gonna put it into there. So like mine needs to be trimmed a little bit. That is okay if it needs to be trimmed a little bit. We can cut that down. So you're gonna put some glue just across the top part here. So my lovely purple glue that I'm pretty sure you can't see. And then I'm going to put it inside. Ta-da! And I happen to have scissors right here. So I'm going to cut off the extra. fell off. Uh-oh. Maybe we should have done the eyes last. Okay. Here we go. So you now have your eyes attached and you have your teeth attached.
Should I get the teeth attached again?
You need to again?
Yeah, I didn't get them on yet.
That's fine. The glue stick doesn't always like to work. You can glue them to the outside too if you want. It's up to you. We're just gonna, and you can push on it to make sure that it's nice and firmly glued on, or taped on, or stapled. Whatever supplies you have at home, we will make do. Ms. Ashlyn, are you doing okay? Maybe. All right, so for those of you who are ready to move on, beautiful. We're gonna add the inside of the mouth or the tongue or whatever you wanna call it. It's just the inside of the mouth. All we're gonna do is glue it right onto the white part. So here's our finished product. You are just gluing it onto the white portion of your shark's mouth. Did you go get a stapler, Gabe?
Yeah, I did.
There you go, yeah. I've been doing craft time on the museum Facebook page every Friday morning, and I don't have the patience to let glue dry, so I usually use tape. Okay, so here's our next update. We have the pink goes, I don't know if you can actually see the pink color. Maybe it's all looking white to me. There we go. So you're just gluing the pink triangle onto the white part of the shark. So that's it. The last three, you should have 3 blue triangles. The last 3 are the fins. So we've got the dorsal fin up on the back, which is this one here. That one's the one that in movies or if you're at the beach, that's the first thing you're usually gonna see because that sticks up out of the water. That also helps sharks maintain position in the water and keeps them balanced. Kind of like if you look at a boat, the bottom keel of a boat, some of them have parts that stick down. It does the same thing, it gives you balance. So on our example one, the person has folded their dorsal fin smaller. So you can do that, or you can leave it the size that it was given to you. So however you want to attach your dorsal fin, feel free to. I think I'm going to make mine a little smaller, glue it together. So I just glued my triangle to be a smaller triangle, and then I'm going to glue that triangle onto, how was I going to do this? That doesn't work, like that, onto the back of my shark. So you can put glue on the back of your shark, that might be easier. And then we're just gonna, I'm gonna go like that. I think that looks good. And, sure. Okay. So our last 2 triangles are the pectoral fins. So to remember where pectoral fins are, on the human body, your pecs are your chest muscles. So
I'm not quite done yet.
Say that again.
I'm not quite done yet.
Okay, that's okay. Keep on gluing or stapling or taping. You're good. I'm just letting you know we're almost done because we only have 2 more pieces of paper. Okay. Have we gotten our dorsal fin on? Getting there. Well, that looks great, Gabe. Love it.
Oh my god, it's adorable.
I love it. So the only other steps that we have to do is you have to decide where you want your other fins to be. So you can move them around and stick them off like this. So if you see our example, they're kind of down like that triangle. If you want them to be little, you can move them around however you want. But that's the last step for you. So I think I'm gonna make little baby fins, little pectoral fins. All right. All right, there's mine. Mine's a little lopsided. That's okay. So here we are. Much easier to do this version than try and make a horseshoe crab. However, I will tell you that I made a horseshoe crab out of a toilet paper tube, and it's on our Facebook page if you so feel like trying to make a horseshoe crab. So just remember, megalodons do not swim in our oceans anymore. They are extinct. Horseshoe crabs cannot hurt you, which means they can't pinch you, bite you, or sting you. They are not stingrays. Horseshoe crabs are important to the world, but they're not gonna hurt you. Let's see, what else have we learned today?
Horseshoe crabs are the enemies. They're going to take over the world.
And we successfully did origami virtually together, and Miss Katie did not cry in frustration. So I think today is a success in my book. For reminders, the rest of the fall, we are going to do Homeschool Fridays virtually. The museum is not open still, and we are being instructed to move everything virtual that we can, or it has to be canceled. So September's topic is pirates, I'm pretty sure. The calendar here. Yay, I know, it'll be so fun. So yeah, September 25th is pirates. So the same way that we did today's class and you had to pick up supplies, we're gonna do that again. So I'll send reminders if you wanna join, that is perfectly fine. We would love to have you and do some more virtual learning and crafts. But do we have any final questions before we sign off? I like that Gabe's decorating his shark a little bit more. Very good.
I do have one question.
No worries. You are free to create as you would like. So as a reminder, once we end this class, once I stop the class, it's going to make a video and I'm going to send it to you. So if you have questions or you want to go back and watch, you are more than welcome to, okay? All right. Mr. Gabe is furiously coloring. I am very intrigued to see what his shark now looks like. Sir Duncan, did you finish your shark? Have we completed our shark? Excellent. I love it. So now you can think about sharks when you read, or horseshoe crabs. I particularly like horseshoe crabs. We have one in our Native American exhibit in the museum. And that is also where our megalodon teeth are.
Kind of weird. I just finished a book about sharks. A
Did you?
Magic School Bus chapter book about sharks.
Nice. That's fun. So let me see. Today's Friday. Yes, it's Homeschool Friday. I read story times on our YouTube channel, and I think tomorrow's book is about sharks, if I remember the order that I scheduled them in. So I think I'm reading a Dr. Seuss book about sharks, which is always fun.
A Dr. Seuss book about sharks. Shark or shark, maybe?
All right. Gabe, final countdown. Let's see your masterpiece. Do you have a Kraken on your shirt?
Yes, actually I do.
That's awesome. I don't know if you all can see. Oh, there you go. Yeah, excellent. So also included, you had a megalodon coloring sheet, which gives you some other information. You are free to do that at any time. That was just something extra. I like coloring. It's a nice stress relief for me. So hopefully you'll have some fun with it. But with that, I'm going to say bye, and I miss you guys, and I will see you later on, all right?
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yep.